Good day, students. You are welcome to another video lectures on cell structure and function. If this is your first time of joining us, kindly subscribe to the channel and put on notification bell so that our next video will be notified to you as soon as we upload it. Thank you. So cell structure and function is our lectures for today. So if we need to discuss about cell, we have to talk about the cell theory. So, and this cell theory goes as that all living things are made up of cells, and living organisms, they are made up of cells, and these living organisms, we have unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. For the multicellular organisms, higher multicellular organisms have numerous cells in their body. Billions, we are talking about billions and trillions of cells in them. And all cells are called the smallest working unit of living organisms. It means it is the cell that, as small as it is, that is the smallest structural and functional unit that is capable of carrying out all the life activities. All cells comes from previously existing cells through the process of cell division. Cell undergoes reproduction, and different types of reproduction can be found in living organisms, but cells undergoes cell division and produce daughter cells, and that's how the cells keep dividing and dividing. So if you look at, by definition, we can say a cell is the smallest unit that is capable of performing life processes, and it is the smallest functional and structural unit capable of independent existence and capable of carrying out life processes. So these are some few examples of cells. We can have cells from unicellular organisms such as amoeba, proteus. We have from plants, we have stem cells, plant stem cells, bacteria, bacterial cells. We have the nerve cells that are responsible for transmitting electrical signals in the nervous system. And we have the red blood cells that are the medium of transportation, transporting oxygen, because they have what we call the hemoglobin. And also the red blood cells, being that they are the transporting medium, they can also transport nutrients after digestion, transportation of signaling molecules when they are released, chemical messengers, hormones, and so on and so forth. We have so many examples of cells. You have in your eyes, we have the rods and cones. They are cells that are found in the eyes, okay, and so on and so forth. You have the cardiac cells, cells that are found in the heart. You have the hepatocytes, cells that are found in the what? In the liver, and so on. So we can categorically divide cells into two forms or two types. We have the prokaryotic cells and the eukaryotic cells. And prokaryotic cells, we can say that they are the unicellular cells or organisms that are called unicellular organisms are called prokaryotes. They are made up of single cell. For example, bacteria, okay, they are prokaryotic in nature. And this bacteria, we can say that being them prokaryotes, they don't have true or membrane bound nucleus. So prokaryotes, they don't have membrane bound organelles or nucleus. Their nucleus is not membrane bound. And the second type of the cell, we have the eukaryotic cells, which are cells that are found in eukaryotes, that is multicellular organisms, plants, animals, and so on. Okay, now still discussing, let's quickly now look at the prokaryotic cell in detail. So this is a picture that represents the prokaryotic cell. And for examples in bacteria, this is a typical example of the bacteria cell. They do not have structures surrounded by membranes, and they have few internal structures, and also they are one cell or single cell organisms, example bacteria. And if you look at the structure of the cell, it has few internal structure, right? It has ribosomes, it has the nucleus, which is their DNA. The nucleus is not membrane bound, so the DNA is just floating freely without being housed in the nucleus. They have the flagella. Flagella used for movement and also for attachment and also for binding to some certain surfaces as in form of receptor. And also we have the capsule, okay? The capsule that covers the outer layer that covers the cell membrane and also the cell wall. So for eukaryotic cell, we can see that they contain organelles that are surrounded by membrane. It means they have membrane-bound organelles, and most living organisms are eukaryotes. And if you look at plants and also animals, they are all carrying eukaryotic name. So they are eukaryotes. So if you look at the plants, they have the organelles here, they have the cell wall, they also have the cell membrane. Cell membrane is inside that houses the organelles directly, houses the organelle. Then on top of the cell membrane, you have the cell wall. You have the nucleus, which houses the genetic material, and inside the nucleus, you have the nucleolus. You have the mitochondria, which produces energy. You have ribosomes, where synthesis of proteins occur. You have lysosomes, which are digestive they contain digestive substances. And also you have the chloroplast, where chlorophyll is trapped for photosynthesis. You have the Golgi apparatus for processing and packaging, and you have the vacuole. So similarly, you can see a lot of organelles are also found in the animal cell. It has the cytoskeleton, okay, cytoskeleton, and also it has the centrioles, the flagella, the nucleus that houses the genetic material, the cilia, ribosomes for synthesis, protein synthesis, Golgi apparatus, packaging, lysosomes also, and also cell membrane and mitochondria. So another animal cell is depicted, the picture is depicted here, and it has, look at the plasma membrane, which directly houses the organelles, and you also have the endoplasmic reticulum, have the nucleus with nuclear membrane, have the Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, lysosomes, and also the ribosomes. This is another typical example of plant cell, and you have all the structures here. You have the amyloplast, which is starch containing. They have large vacuole, central vacuole, and endoplasmic reticulum. You know, endoplasmic reticulum is divided into two. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum, where you have no ribosomes attached to it, and you have the rough endoplasmic reticulum that is embedded with ribosomes. Cell wall, and also the cell membrane, and Golgi apparatus, chloroplast, and so on and so forth. Mitochondria is also here for energy production. So let's look at the cell organelles. Organelles that are found within the cells, and their different function and more structural illustration. So we have cell membrane, which is the outer membrane of a cell. It controls movement in and out of the cell. So it is controlling what goes into the cell and what comes out of the cell. You understand? So some molecules can diffuse freely inside the cell or outside the cell, while some molecules, because those molecules that can freely diffuse, they are small molecules, and and the they can be transported directly, while others need transporter proteins or transporter molecules that need to pass through them before they now get into the cell or outside of the cell. And the cell is having two layers, it's double layer, and it has so many constituents like the membrane proteins and also the membrane lipids that help in shaping and maintaining the integrity of the cell. So the cell wall now is most commonly found in plant cells, and also it is found in some bacteria. It supports and protects the cell, similar to what is happening in the cell membrane of animals. And for cell wall, it does the same, but it also supports and protects the cell of bacteria and also in plants. So for nucleus, nucleus is the repository of genetic materials. Genetic materials are found inside the nucleus, and these genetic materials include DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA, ribonucleic acid. Okay, so and these are important in transmitting or transferring of genetic information from parents to offspring. So it directs the cell activities, and this nucleus has nuclear membrane. Okay, so nucleus is housed in a nuclear membrane. It is separated from the cytoplasm by nuclear membrane, and it contains the genetic material, example, deoxyribonucleic acid. And the nuclear membrane now, it surrounds the nucleus, and it's made up of two layers, and it has openings that allows materials to move into the nucleus and comes out of the nucleus. So typically this is how the nuclear membrane looks like, with the pores, okay, and the pores openings that are at the nuclear membrane. So still in the nucleus, we have what we call the chromosome, and these chromosomes are made of DNA, and they contain information or instructions for traits and characteristics that can be passed from parents to offspring. Okay, so if you look at when you have fertilization in reproductive system, you have an egg from a female partner, and you have spermatozoa from, or sperm cells from the male partner. When now the sperm swim and gets a suitable penetrating capacity or ability to now penetrate the eggs to form what we call the zygote, that we can say now fertilization has taken place. Now, in the egg of the female, or the ova of the female, is an egg, is like a cell. It has also genetic material. It has nucleus and genetic material. So also the sperm cell also has nucleus and genetic material. So you can see that is how a child is inheriting both the parent character, that is both the father character and also the mother's character, through that process of fertilization. That is a natural genetic mixing that is taking place naturally. So nucleolus, it is also found inside the nucleus, and it contains RNA that is used to build proteins. It contains what? RNA, ribonucleic acid, that is used to build proteins. We also have the cytoplasm, which is the now cell environment. The cell environment after the cell covering, which is the cell membrane or the plasma membrane or the cell wall. Okay, you have that cellular environment where all the organelles are situated. So it is a gel-like mixture that is surrounded by cell membrane, and it contains also hereditary material. And all the organelles are situated inside. We have the endoplasmic reticulum, and the function of endoplasmic reticulum is that it moves material around in the cell. And it is of two types. We have the smooth type, which does not have ribosomes embedded, and the rough type, which is now presented in this picture, and that has ribosomes embedded at the surface. Look at this, like dot dot. These are the ribosomes. So we have smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. So for ribosomes, we can say, look at their structure here, or the picture here. They contains thousands in a particular cell. Each cell contains thousands of these ribosomes, and they are used to synthesize proteins in the cell, and they can be found ribosomes. They are found on ribosomes and also in protein throughout the cell. So for mitochondria, it produces energy through chemical reactions and in the metabolism when you take dietary carbohydrate or lipids, okay, after digestion, you produce the end product of digestion. Let's say for carbohydrate, we have the glucose in the body. Now the glucose will transport it to cells through the blood, okay, and also now this cell will now take the glucose and now uses it to produce its energy as the case may be, either for storage if there is no need for energy, or storage as in form of glycogen, or now you utilize to produce energy. So that energy is in form of ATP, and now the synthesis of this ATP takes place inside the mitochondria, because this mitochondria has a lot of enzymes that carry out that processes. You remember we talked about uh, TCA cycle in our previous class. We talked about Hans Krebs that discover the tricarboxylic acid that is called now Krebs cycle, where you have what enzymes in the mitochondria to further oxidize the fuel molecule to produce more energy. So, and it is used to break down fat and carbohydrate to produce energy. So now we have another function. It controls level of water and other materials in the cell, and it also recycles and decomposes proteins, fats, and also carbohydrates. So for Golgi bodies, they are also called Golgi apparatus. They are used for protein packaging. They packages protein after they have been produced by the ribosomes. Then they package them and move materials also within the cell. They also move materials out of the cell. So lysosomes are organelles that contains digestive enzymes. They are used to digest foreign substance or foreign material that is not or sometimes substances that are now not needed by the cells. Okay, so they are called digestive plants. They digest proteins. If the protein is not, after maybe produced, is not needed, it has exerted its action, okay, then it can be what digested by this digestive plants, which is the lysosomes. They digest fat and also carbohydrate. They also transport undigested material to the cell membrane for removal. So when the cell breaks down if lysosomes explode. So we have the vacuoles, which are membrane-bound sacs that are used for storage, digestion, and also for waste removal. They contain water solution and also helps plants maintain their good shape. So we also talk about chloroplasts, and chloroplast is usually found in plant cells, and this chloroplast contains green pigment that is called the chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is used by the plants to synthesize carbohydrate in the presence of light in a process that is called photosynthesis. So this is where photosynthesis takes place in the plant cell rather. So we are going to stop here. Thank you for watching. If you are yet to subscribe, kindly hit the subscription button and also turn on the notification bell so that our future content will be notified to you, so that you will now watch and benefit from the lectures. Thank you once again. See you next. Bye bye.